And this is Michael Williams here with Peter Lamboy-Foray. That's a pretty awesome name. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure.
Peter's been a client of mine for a few months now, right? When did we start, Peter? What month was that?
We started our journey, I would say, November of 2014.
November, yeah. And then we had the holiday.
Then we had the holidays,
We
correct?
were
Yes.
off for a while, and then we
Yes.
started back up, and
Yeah.
and then we finished up not too long ago, but we'll still be in touch. So great. So Peter, tell me a little bit about what you do, and then we'll basically talk about how things were for you before we started, how you found me, why you chose me, some of the challenges that you experienced while you were going through this process, and then we'll talk about how things are for you now. So first, tell me a little bit, or tell us a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. Well, I am in the hospitality industry. I am a corporate revenue manager. I oversee a region actually, which consists of 6 properties that I oversee their top line revenue. So, in my role as a corporate revenue manager, of course, I look at the top line revenue to make sure the properties are positioned well in the market and to make sure that they are capturing a fair share of business within the local marketplace.
Right, right. So when we got together, in fact, before we started our journey, I remember you told me what your speaking demands were, your speaking requirements. So tell me, like every week, tell us what you have to do.
Absolutely. Well, on a weekly basis, of course, you have to review your weekly strategies with each property that you oversee. And it requires me to go visit each property, look at how we performed the previous week, the strategies that I was able to implement, and how effective they were. And then, of course, we look at the future at the same time and see, what can we do differently from the last week to the next week. And it involves a lot of talking, presentations, reviewing numbers, making sure that you have implemented the right strategies for the right properties at the right time, and just making sure that the hotels are profitable. On a weekly basis, I go to these meetings. Before, I did not have a structure in conducting these meetings, which was a major struggle for me.
Good. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I want us to touch on that a little later, the structure, because you and I focused not just on confidence and on speaking style, but we talked about speaking structure. And I know there's people out there who are going to be watching this who may have to do presentations that are data driven. And I've mentioned you in a roundabout way in some of my videos when I talk to people about using the proactive presentation structure, because they may think that it might not work if you have a lot of data that you have to give. But in fact, that was mostly what you had to talk about, was data, and you were able to successfully use both the style and the structure to deliver better presentations, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I can tell you, it has worked really well. Now I can go into any presentation, any meetings, hands-free, notes-free.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm just excited. I'm just excited.
Okay. Great. So let's rewind a little bit. What were things like for you before we started this journey? How did you feel? How did you feel limited? Tell me about it.
My God, it was devastating. Actually, when I first started on this new job, I think I started like maybe 2 weeks. After that, we had a quarterly ownership meeting, which I was involved in. My God, it was horrible. I can't believe I was just so nervous throughout the whole presentation. I was talking too fast. it was just tough. It was a tough experience. You feel like, you have to read. Well, I felt like I had to read all of my presentations, and it was really, a tough battle. And then I started. Well, I said to myself, this is something that I really need to work on. I need to improve my presentation skills. I need to feel confident. I need to improve the way that I speak. And thanks to you, I am getting there.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I remember you telling me that you would rush through your presentations, you would read them, and sometimes you told me something about people would ask you to repeat stuff or whatever because you were going so fast.
Yeah, that's true. Like when I was, excuse me, when I was going through my presentations, oftentimes people may ask, "Oh, could you repeat that? Could you repeat this?" Well, that's because I was going too fast. I was trying to say what I have to say and get it out of the way and get out. That was the mindset.
Right.
But now I go in, taking my time, relax, making the meetings more interactive. I have them talking more now than before.
Yeah, yeah. And what, what, how did you find me? What were you looking for that brought you to me?
Well, I mean, based on my experience, Michael, I really just wanted to be fluent, to speak more, to sound more polished, to sound more executive, so to speak. And that's exactly what I was looking for. I discovered your program, I would say years back. I read your profile. I went to your website. And at that time, I felt like, I could do this without any training, any guidance, and what have you. So I decided not to do your program. So, but once I started to develop into a senior level leadership role, I started to discover that, what, I need to improve my speaking style. I need to have a brand new speaking style that sounds more polished, that is more executive, and that is more persuasive.
Okay, okay. And did you find me back then? Did you find me on Google, YouTube, or both? How did you?
No, I Googled through, I searched you through Google, and then it took me to your website. And, at that time, years ago, I don't think I was ready for it. I
Mm,
don't, I didn't feel like I needed to go through such a
mm,
program. But after, like as I said, developing myself, growing into a more leadership role within my field,
mm.
I felt like, speaking was more so of a roadblock for me.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the process that we went through as you were working on this. Tell me about maybe some of the struggles, things that other people are going to have as they go through this process, because it's not easy. It's challenging. So maybe tell us about some of your
I
challenges.
totally agree. Yeah. Well, some of the challenges that I had to overcome was time and dedication. Excuse me. I worked at least 13, 14 hours a day, and with two children, coming home, have to cater to them, have to cater to my wife and what have you. So time was really of essence for me, which I had to work hard to dedicate my time to this program because for me, this was really an investment, so to speak, and I felt like I needed to invest into this program and I needed to dedicate myself. I need to be persistent. I need to allocate the time to practice and to meet with you twice a week. So that was, more so of the commitment that I had to make to this program.
Right. And since that time, I've come out with the 3.0, where now, for the first couple of weeks or so, I meet with people twice. But now the program has gotten so much more efficient. Now I just need to meet with people once, and we're still getting great results. But when you came in, it was the Pro 90D 2.0, and I felt the need to meet with people twice a week. But now we're getting great results with really once. But that's after the first few weeks. Then we kind of scale back to
Yeah,
once.
and for me, I was looking for more so an accelerated program, meet with you at least 3 days a week. It wasn't an easy fix. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes commitment. But I just wanted to feel like I'm making the most out of my investment. I'm not missing out on any opportunities
That's right.
that might be out there. So that's why we decided to do the twice a week
Twice a week.
meeting, which I think was really effective for me. And I think in the survey, I responded that perhaps you may consider increasing that to maybe 3 or 4 days a week. If you really want to get a fast start, more accelerated steps, and
Yeah, exactly. For some people, it's a matter of finances, and for others, finance is not necessarily the issue, but it's a commitment level and it's an investment, like you said. If you're gonna get your money back, right?
Eventually you will.
Many times over, right? If you get something like one promotion, that's already paid for whatever you paid for your coaching, or if you get a sale or something like that. So
Absolutely.
one of your challenges was time. And so a lot of people are like, I'm busy, I don't have time. And I got to tell you, my most successful clients, you being included in them, have been the busiest. They've been the busiest. They've had families, they've been executives, and they've worked demanding jobs, and they've done the best. They've done the best. So how many hours a day or minutes a day would you say you devoted on average to practice, listening, and so forth?
I would say at least 6 hours a day. On my way to work, I listen to the audio, just rehearsing what we went through the previous day, listening to the audio recordings. And at work, I sit at my desk, just listening to audios, because I wasn't in a position to watch a video, and working at the same time. So I listen to the audios at least 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, which is a real commitment that I had to make. And I still do it. Like I told you earlier, I felt like I was off track a little bit, but after I started listening to the audios again, it seems as though I'm back on track.
So how'd you get any work done if you were listening to the audios?
Well, most of my well, most of my job that I do involves analyzing data, trends, and just looking at the market research, what's happening in the market, looking at your past and future strategies, and looking at your strategic analysis. And so, yeah, that's what I do. And at the same time, I listen to the audios.
Yeah. Now, when we started, I mentioned that the minimum was just an hour a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could get away with 40 minutes a day, but you really needed to be at an hour a day. So you did like 6 times that, which is what my other clients did, is you squeeze it in when you're driving to work, when you're driving at home, when you have time to work, and that's the way you get it in there. Now, the other thing that you did, you were exposed to an opportunity to use what you were learning a few times a week, because you had, how many meetings a week? Was it like 3?
I have 3 meetings each week. Of course, I have my weekly revenue strategy meetings. And then in addition to that, I do have a weekly meeting with my boss that goes over my strategies and what have you. And then on Fridays, we have a stand-up meeting. It's more so, how was your week? What did you do? Things, your action items, things that you're working on.
Hmm.
So yeah, 3 meetings a week, and then of course I have monthly meetings, quarterly meetings, and I have annual meetings as well that I have to present.
Okay. So you had regular opportunities to put into practice what you were learning, right?
Correct.
And how long did it take before you actually started seeing stuff start to work consistently?
For me, I would say it took like maybe a month or two,
Okay.
and of course, as you recall in our meetings, some weeks, I may have a good week. I feel very confident, and I come to you and tell you, man, I did so well in my revenue meeting. But then the next week, I go in kind of like, I didn't do so well,
Mm,
and that's just how it was.
yeah. And then after a while, what started to happen?
Oh, and then we started talking about structure, and
Yeah.
that really, I had to restructure the whole meeting,
Right.
to really concentrate on what they like to hear, what they want to hear, what they want to talk about, and just making the meeting more interactive. And
Right.
it has worked.
So one of the things that you and I did that was included in the 3.0 is we began to focus on presentation structure, and that allowed you to really break free, like you said, hands free, notes free,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
And what impact did that have on your confidence and on your style? Just not having to use notes. How did that impact your confidence and your style?
Absolutely. I mean, now I go into this meetings, open up my laptop, set it to the side. My new style is ask questions, like, pose questions to my team, to the people that I meet with. And it just like they just get going. I just ask a simple question and they just take it away. And
Yeah,
I just relax and think about the next thing that I'm going to ask or the next thing that I'm going to say. And that structure that we put together has worked tremendously to my benefit.
good, good. So as we wrap this up, what would you tell people? Some people may think that I'm not really sure if this is going to work for me. Some people may think, well, yeah, it may work for you at first, but then, and you and I will get back together again 6 months, 7, 8 months from now, and
Mhm.
people will see how well you're speaking. I'm confident that you'll be speaking as well, more than likely better than what you're speaking now. But what would you say to people that might be skeptical of the Pro 90D speech system
Hey,
and the coaching?
ladies, fellows, this is the program. Michael Williams, private coaching, definitely. If you are looking to really develop or create a brand new speaking style, I would strongly recommend to invest into this program. I mean, given my experience, being shy to speak in meetings, being able to speak out, to really project my thoughts, things that I'm thinking, was a real struggle for me. But after going through this program with Michael, I just feel free. I feel released going into my meetings every week with confidence and knowing exactly what I'm going to talk about. Uh, it's invest into it.
Well, thank you, Peter. I really appreciate your time. And, again, several months from now, we're going to get back together. So,
Absolutely, Michael. And I do appreciate your time.
sure.
And I look forward to working with you again.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.